My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content.
Hey gang, welcome back. Today, zooming in, Cody Payne from Flex Parks USA. Cody is a very, very experienced real estate entrepreneur in multiple different areas. Yes, he's part of the whole flex industrial thing, but he's also got tons of experience working with buyers and sellers. He's a broker. He's an investor. He's an all-around Renaissance real estate guy. Cody Payne, welcome to the show. Great to have you back.
Okay. I'm a father now too, which I wasn't whenever you and I talked years ago. So
congratulations.
Something new. Appreciate that. Thought I'd throw that in there.
That's probably the biggest deal, actually. But anyhow,
It's been fun. It's been good.
Nice. So, Cody, for folks who aren't really all that familiar, maybe they've heard the term flex industrial. First things first, paint us a picture of what the heck does that even mean? What is that? What are you guys buying or building or investing?
Absolutely. So everybody, a lot of people say, what is flex space, right? Because it actually has a lot of names, as you know. Some people call it small base. Some people call it contractor garages. It's all the same thing at the end of the day, right? It's small industrial, it's industrial parks that are leasing to tenants that are, 1,000 to 5,000 square feet, kind of on average, right? Somewhere in between there. That's the small bay side of it. When you start going larger, you're kind of getting into mid bay and then so on and so forth. So they are, built for small businesses mostly. A lot of these are very basic, warehouse, maybe an office, maybe a restroom. Obviously, you can make them nicer, more advanced, however you want to do it. But the small bay side is traditionally that 1,000 to 5,000 square foot units. That's why a lot of people call it the multifamily of industrial, right? Because, you'll have parks that have, 30, 40, 50, 60 tenants in them.
Right. So the parks that you guys have, what kind of size range do you typically have?
So, we're on the investment sales side. So, we sell anything from, $1 million all the way up. And so, a lot of the parks that you're seeing get built out there right now, they're probably ranging 40 to 75,000 square feet. That's kind of like the sweet spot for a lot of people to build. That's where a lot of investors are at too. They're looking at it too. So it's kind of one of those sweet spots that you go to when you're looking to build, buy, or sell. That range is a good area. But obviously, you can go up to, we invested in a park that's, about 225,000 square feet and it's got 110 tenants in it. And so they can get quite large as well.
Yeah. So do you guys, you're in the buy and sell business. Do you also hold some of these properties yourselves? Do you guys have a portfolio?
Yeah. So, our main business line is obviously brokerage. So the investment sales side of it. We also do invest in industrial parks as well. We also help people get them built. And then we have a feasibility side as well. So if you're looking at a piece of land and you're like, Cody, I want to know if this works good for small bay, we've got a great team that can analyze it, give you a good idea on, what type to build, what your rental rate trajectory could be, lease up timeline, things of that nature.
Okay. So since we last chatted, Cody, a lot of people in other asset classes are facing some challenges. Quite a few challenges in certain asset classes, that's for sure. But one of the challenges a lot of people are facing is the cost to build stuff. So what are you guys seeing on the flex industrial side of things as far as building costs? Has that slowed things down? Are people still building like crazy or just buying existing?
It's something and that's a really good question because you're right. Building costs are very expensive. It's something that's impacted every industry. It definitely has impacted the small bay side, but the new construction side is still going very, very strong all across the U.S. And so when it comes to building, I'll tell you what, we're seeing a lot of people build these parks for, a lot of times with land, they're going to be anywhere from maybe $82 to $140 per square foot, because you can go from really a real basic shell metal building to, something that maybe is, taller with some showroom retail glass and maybe, awnings and mezzanine spaces and things of that nature. So, it's like a hot rod. You can go real cheap or you can go a little bit more expensive. And so
as much as you want.
Oh yeah. And so, but as far as the build cost goes, we see them kind of in that range for the most part across the U.S. And obviously, it's going to depend on your land costs and a lot of that as well.
Of course. but you're still seeing quite a significant uptake in building stuff out. Okay, so you got a ton of experience working with folks who are doing these kind of projects. What are you seeing now that other asset classes have kind of gotten a little less attractive, a little more shaky? Are you seeing a lot of people moving in from multifamily into flex industrial? You're seeing people move in from, I think we were talking offline a little bit about some self-storage folks kind of moving in this. Are you seeing that sort of thing happening on a regular basis?
Yeah. And I don't, it'd be great if we could figure out how to find it, because I'm telling you, it's got to be one of the top cross asset investment classes right now. And so and this has been so exciting for us, the past several years, is some of these other asset classes are having trouble, right? Like the office sector and so on and so forth. A lot of those people have turned their attention to the small bay side because there's a lot of benefits that it has that, so these other people struggle with. So like re-tenanting, for example, right? If you have an office building or some of that nature and a tenant leaves, your re-tenanting cost has, gone up substantially over the past 5-6 years. Well, the finish out in the small bay is very minimal. A lot of times it's less than 10% office and mostly warehouse. So there's not a lot to it. Mm-hmm. The only one that I think is better is self-storage. You're just going in there with a broom and sweeping it out. Yeah. But it's been very exciting because you're right. We've had a lot of people from multifamily, huge funnel from self-storage, office, retail. We've had a lot of guys coming over to it. The mobile home park people have been really taking a big look at it. I know several of them that have been buying across the U.S. And so that's what's really helped, I think, continue the energy and synergy on the small bay side as far as investment goes, is all the people from other asset classes coming over to it.
Hey there, if you're a capital raiser, a syndicator, or a fund manager, and you're looking for a steady flow of incoming accredited investor leads, then go ahead, grab a free copy of my new book, How to Get 20 Accredited Investor Meetings Every Month Without Cold Calling, Networking, or Chasing People. You can get that at 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com. Again, that's the number 20accreditedinvestorsbook.com.
So for folks that aren't super familiar with the benefits, the pros of small bay as an asset class versus other things, what do you show these folks? What do you show them? What's in it for an investor to focus on this versus anything and everything else they could be doing?
So I think when you're comparing it to other asset classes, you want to look at a few things, right? You always want to look at trajectory. You want to look at the past. You want to look at where they're headed. So a lot of small bay has a really, really bright future in a lot of areas that we look at across the U.S. Obviously, like any asset class, you will have some sectors of it that are maybe oversaturated or not seeing the rental growth or something of that nature. But a lot of people like the trajectory of it, the velocity of the tenants, right? So when you have a vacancy, the on-market time in many cases is relatively low compared to other asset classes. The other thing we talked about is the tenant turnover finish out, right? Mm-hmm. Being less than a lot of other asset classes. And then, a lot of people look at it because there's still a lot of value add to find in there, right? Going in, finding a park that maybe is existing that has gross leases that you can convert to triple net, or a park that you can go in there and, maybe fix up and boost rents, or, what multifamily was really having a good string of back in, 2015 and whatnot, finding people that had owned this stuff for 10, 15, 20 years that, rents were really, really low and people could go in there and convert and move rents up. So there's a lot of opportunities in a lot of areas in the small bay side. And a lot of people are really benefiting off of really just the market growth and resilience of it as well, because we actually just closed a park that we've sold 3 times in probably 6 years. And wow. Every time that owner has done very, very well on it. And it just shows you the resilience and dominance that those can have, and the rental growth and the little additions that you can do to these parks to really make them thrive and succeed.
Well, okay. Now you got my curiosity. What are some of the things that you're seeing people do to add value to these existing parks that's bumping up the value and the rents?
So some will, maybe it's actually quite common to find a lot of them that maybe will have some extra land to it. Okay. Yeah. So where you can either expand the building footprint or add in maybe some fenced in yard space to it, where that can be really beneficial to tenants, and they'll pay for that most of the time. And so either adding that, juicing up the outside to make it look better, adding showroom glass, maybe adding mezzanine space, maybe adding additional parking, or even covered parking. I mean, there's a lot of little things that you can do to these parks if you have the ability to, right? To really optimize them to perform at their best level.
So when you're out and about, Cody, and you meet somebody who's outside of the real estate game, and they ask you what you do, and they ask about small bay or flex industrial, if you were to pitch like a potential investor, not somebody to buy one of these parks, but maybe somebody, if you're doing a syndication, to buy one yourself or something like that, how do you kind of hook them? What are the big broad strokes that you tell a layperson about the advantage of this investment class versus anything and everything else?
I mean, one of my big things is it's an asset class that can tailor to a lot of tenants, right? And so the biggest thing is, 10, 15 years ago, it was all subcontractor-based tenants, right? Plumbers and electricians. That's who all was the lead source for a long time.
Comes to my mind off.
Yeah. Well, nowadays, you've got e-commerce tenants. You've got gyms, fitness studios, little, retail boutique shops. I mean, these things have been pulling from other asset classes left and right to just bring more and more tenants to the table. And then, the small business applications across the U.S. continue to rise every year. And, there's just so many things that are beneficial to these because they are perfect for small business. And so it's a great place for people to start a business to put in there, or to run, regional businesses, to have several locations in several areas. So that's really the big thing, is the traction it's getting and the type of tenants in that tenant pool that's just so broad and expansive, because there's not another asset class that I know of that can pull a retail tenant, a light industrial tenant, a storage tenant. Like, that's just such a broad pool that it has that ability to, when all the other ones are, if you're multifamily, you're just getting, renters that are renting a one or two bedroom. Yeah. And the same thing. So it's a multi-trick pony, and that's what I think is so good about it.
Very, very cool. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Because I'm a one-trick pony. All we do is sell flex. But the multi-trick pony, the business part.
The end tenants of the flex are wide-ranging. Very, very cool. No, that makes a ton of sense. So where do you see things going in the space over the next 5 to 10 years, Cody? Do you see it slowing down, or is it?
I think it's going to keep on rocking and rolling, because you've got so many areas across the U.S., so many metros that just keep expanding outwardly, right? And anytime you have that, you've got a need for small bay, right? Say you go into an area, out here outside of DFW, there's so many pockets that are getting all these new homes built. Everywhere you look, it's like, oh, another 800 homes are getting built over here, another 400 over here. Well, all those guys need your basic, subcontractor base, right? Your plumbers, electricians. Then some of them need the,
the
higher
dance
tier
studio,
kind of
gym.
people. Yeah. And then the higher tier custom people, like custom cabinets, pools, things of that nature. And so, as those expand, so does, the small bay industrial side. And so that's what's so great about it, is finding those, pockets in all these metros that are continuing to expand outward and taking advantage of it.
Very, very cool. No, that's great. Awesome, Cody. Well, it's great to get a little update from you on what's going on in the small bay industrial space these days. I'm sure there's going to be some people wanting to connect and find out more, because it sounds like you guys help people buy and sell and build and do all sorts of stuff in this arena. So if people want to connect with you, where should they go?
Easy. flexparksusa.com. It's the best place to go. You can see everything we're working on, and connect with me or any of the folks here, and we'll get you taken care of.
Awesome. Hey, Cody, good connecting again. Thanks very much for being on the show.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.
Hey there. I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewsyou.com.